Functions. A function is a resemblance between a first set called the domain and a second set called the range. Each member of the domain corresponds to exactly one member of the range. Domain is the x value, range is the y value. When doing functions, the first thing we do is determine whether a correspondence or a relation is a function. -6 and 6, -3 and 3, 0 and 0. Yes, because each member of the domain corresponds to exactly one member of the range. Functions are often given by equations. Y equals x to the second minus 9x minus 12. For x equals -2, y equals -2 to the second minus 9 times 2 minus 12. For x equals 0, y equals 0 to the second minus 9 times 0 minus 12. For x equals 1, y equals 1 to the second minus 9 times 1 minus 12. In each function there are inputs and outputs. In these examples, the inputs are -2, 0, and 1. The outputs are what y equals. An easier way to do this is to call the function f, and we can use x to represent an input. This is called f of x or f of x. Y equals x to the second minus 9x minus 12. F of 0 equals 0 to the second minus 9 times 0 minus 12. So 0 to the second, which makes 0, minus 9x times 0, which also makes 0. So 0 minus 12 equals 12. F of -7 equals -7 to the second minus 9 times -7 equals 12. 7 to the second makes 49, and -9 times -7 equals 63. Which 63 minus 12 equals 100. F of 5a, which equals 5a to the second minus 9 times 5a minus 12, so equals 25a to the second minus 45a minus 12. F of a minus 4 equals quantity a minus 4 to the second minus 9 times quantity a minus 4 minus 12, which breaks down to a to the second minus 9 minus 8a plus 9 minus 9a plus 36 minus 12. Both 12's cancel out, which looks like this, which also equals a to the second minus 17a plus 36. Next, we graph. We select values for x and find the corresponding values for f of x. Then we plot the points and connect them. F of x equals x to the second minus 5. For the function f of x equals x to the second minus 5, we use the graph to find each of the following function values. F of 3, we start at 3 on the x-axis and go up till we get a point. We stop at 4 on the y-axis. F of -2, we start at -2 on the x-axis and go down till we get a point. We stop at -1 on the y-axis. Find the indicated function values, if possible, and determine whether the given values are in the domain of the function. F of 1 and f of 3 for f of x equals 1 divided by x minus 3. F of 1 equals 1 divided by 1 minus 3, which equals -1/2. F of 3, which equals 1 divided by 3 minus 3, equals 1 divided by 0. The domain is 1 because you cannot divide by 0, so if f of 3 does not exist. Now we find the domain of each of the following functions. f of x equals 1 divided by x minus 3, x equals 3. The domain is in set notation. In interval notation, quantity negative infinity, 3, and quantity 3 to infinity. X cannot equal 3 because you cannot divide by 0. Interval and set notation. The U means inclusion or and. When writing an interval notation, the infinity is always included, which means always use parentheses, not brackets. We use brackets when we do not include an integer. Graph each of the following, then estimate the domain and the range of each. F of x equals half x plus 1. We plug in negative 2 for x, which equals f of negative 2 equals half times negative 2 plus 1, which equals 0. Y equals 1 and x equals negative 2. Domain equals all reals and range equals all reals. All reals. We call the domain and range all reals because eventually the graph will cover all possible values of x and y. Linear functions. A function f is a linear function if it can be written as f of x equals mx plus b. M and b are constants. If m equals 0, the function is a constant function, f of x equals b. If m equals 1 and b equals 0, the function is the identity function of f of x equals x. Slope. The slope m of the line containing points x1, y1, and x2, y2 is given by m equals rise over run. The formula for slope equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Graph the function f of x equals negative 2/3 x plus 1 and determine its slope. F of 3 equals negative 2/3 times 3 plus 1 equals negative 2 plus 1 equals negative 1. F of 9 equals negative 2/3 times 9 plus 1 equals negative 6 plus 1, which equals negative 5. Pairs are 3, negative 1, and 9, negative 5. Again, the formula for the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So, plugging in for y2 and y1, we have negative 5 minus negative 1 divided by, plugging in for x2 minus x1, 9 minus 3, which equals negative 2/3.